All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a skill that seriously feels like a superpower: how to read a scientific research article. We're going to crack the code, find that hidden key that turns these, super dense and intimidating papers into something you can actually use.
So, have you ever had that feeling? You open up a scientific paper and it's just this wall of text, charts, jargon. It's like you need a secret decoder ring just to get past the first paragraph. It's so easy to feel completely lost. But what if I told you there's a hidden blueprint, a predictable structure, that once you get it, makes everything just click into place?
Okay, so first things first, we have to get one thing straight. Not all academic articles are created equal. There are actually a bunch of different kinds, and each one has a totally different job. You can basically split the academic world in two. On one hand, you've got articles that kind of explain what we already know, or maybe argue a certain point. But then, on the other hand, you have research articles. And these are the real game changers, because they're presenting something totally new, the findings from an original, first-hand investigation. And for our purposes today, we're going to zoom in on one specific, super powerful type, the empirical research article. And trust me, that one word, empirical, that is the key to this whole thing. It's our decoder ring. So what does that word even mean, empirical? What exactly makes research empirical? At its core, it's pretty simple. Empirical just means it's based on actual experience, not just some theory or belief somebody cooked up. It's all about evidence from the real world, stuff you can actually observe and measure. So in practice, what does that look like? Well, it means the research deals with stuff that's been observed. It involves things that can be measured. It's all about gathering actual, tangible proof from the real world. Whether they're studying human behavior or a chemical reaction or whatever, it has to be something they can see and record. Okay, so if it's all about gathering this real-world evidence, how do they do it? What's in the researcher's toolkit? Well, they've got a bunch of common tools they use. You'll see things like questionnaires and surveys, which are great for getting info from a lot of people. Or they might do in-depth interviews to get more personal stories. Sometimes it's just straight-up observation, or they'll set up a controlled experiment to test a really specific idea. These are the ways they capture that actual experience we've been talking about. All right, so the researchers did the work. They've got their evidence. Now what? How do they actually package all of that into a paper we can make sense of? How do they tell the story? This is where we get the secret code. It's called the IMRD blueprint. And I'm not kidding, almost every single empirical research article out there follows this exact structure. It's like a universal map. IMRD. Let's break down what each of those letters stands for. First up, I is for introduction. This is where they set the stage. This section answers the big question, what was the problem? They'll give you the background, point out a gap in what we know, and then tell you the exact question their study is designed to answer. Next up, M is for methods. This part answers, how did you study the problem? I like to think of this as the recipe. It tells you exactly what the researchers did, step by step, what tools they used. It's so detailed that another scientist could follow it and do the exact same experiment. Then we have R for results. This section answers one simple question. What did you find? And this is super important. It's just the facts, no opinions, no interpretation. It's the raw data, the numbers, the charts, the tables, just what they found, plain and simple. And finally, we get to D for discussion. This is my favorite part, because this is where they answer the so what question. What does it all mean? Here, they'll interpret those results, explain why they matter, admit what the study couldn't do, its limitations, and maybe suggest what other researchers should look into next. So, let's put it all together. You see how it tells a story, right? The introduction gives you the question. The methods lays out the plan. The results show you the evidence. And the discussion gives you the conclusion. Question, plan, evidence, conclusion. That's IMRD. Once that clicks, you'll never be lost in a paper again. You'll know exactly where to look for what you need. Okay, but why does this blueprint even matter? Why is knowing this little acronym such a big deal? Because it's not just some random format that scientists decided to use. It's a map.
Seriously, it gives you the power to pick up any of these papers and navigate it with confidence. You're not just wandering around in a forest of words anymore. You've got a compass. And with this map, you can do so much. You can find information way faster. Need to know the main point? Boom, go to the introduction. Want to see the hard data? Jump straight to the results section. It helps you really understand how they did the research, which means you can think critically about it. You can even start comparing different studies to see how they stack up. And really, this is the biggest takeaway. Knowing this structure completely changes how you read these things. You're not just a passive reader anymore, just kind of hoping something sinks in. Nope, you become an active investigator. You're in there, hunting for answers, questioning things. You're in control. So there you have it. You've got the blueprint, you've got the map, you've got the secret decoder ring. The next time a scientific paper lands in front of you, you're not going to see a confusing mess. You're going to see the structure. So the only real question left is, now that you have the key, what are you going to unlock?